Are you ready to walk down a path of enchantment? Dilly, Dallying, and Dollyworld takes you to a reality with beings ranging from angels to listeners, all sharing thoughts on divergent subjects, from desserts to messages from beyond. Dilly, Dallying, and Dollyworld with Dolly Howard begins now. Produced by Haggy Shack Radio's Colleen Kelly and broadcasting over the Wolf Spirit Radio Network.
But I know I can't be your guardian angel.
Thanks, Colleen. Hi, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Dolly. You are listening to Dilly, Dallying, and Dollyworld. And I think we have an exciting show tonight. I got a lot of peoples together that you hear with us a lot in different combinations. And I figured it was time that we get together on air, and so you guys can be included in it too. Colleen produces for us individuals, and I would like to discuss among us how we think that the production she does for us as individuals is going, and what we think we can change to make WSR and HSR any better, and what plans are in our minds that we want to get out and talk about maybe. But first I gotta do the advertisement. The HSR and WSR are donation run stations. I can't think of the name of it right now. So they're run by donations, and we need any donations.
Supported.
Huh?
Listener supported.
Thank you so much. Yes. Listener-supported stations, so we need your donations. You can find the donate buttons on the pages, and you just click on there and donate what you can. If you can't, do not feel bad. Just come and play with us, join us, talk with us, have a good time with us. And we also have subscriptions or archives that are free for the first week after a show airs. After that, Colleen moves them over into the paid subscription archives, and it's $5 a month. You have to renew each month on your own. We'll send you a little reminder saying your subscription is coming up so if you want to renew, please go ahead and renew. And if you have any questions or any comments, which we love questions and comments, please give them to us, but be sure you type them in all caps. That way it draws our attention, and we won't miss any. Well, between all of us, we shouldn't miss any. Colleen's really good at catching them for us. So, now to the exciting stuff. We have Nancy Hopkins, Colleen Kelly, Walt Silva, Annette Brown. No, she's not Brown. Annette Bobko, and me, Dolly. You all want to say hi?
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hi, I'm so glad that we're here to critique Colleen.
Hey, nobody said anything about a critique meeting.
I know. Remember, I got the button.
Uh-huh.
She has the power.
Push the button. Elevator goes up. Elevator go down.
Hi, Annette.
Hello.
Oh, Annette, why don't you share with everybody you're feeling better? Because they all ask me.
Well, you just did. No, I am feeling better. I've got another issue going on, but they think it's because of the diabetes. So, Walt, I'm evidently not allowing enough sweetness in my life that isn't in the form of a donut or an Oreo. So, I gotta stop that.
Well, that's, it wasn't literal sweetness. It was, the quality of sweetness in your life.
Yeah, but I kind of liked my definition better.
Yeah, right.
So I gotta
she's
get my
doing better
button gear.
anyway.
Yes. Oh, hell yes. From last week, it was awful. It was just awful. But yes, I'm doing much better from that.
And you missed your last show.
I know. I was trying so hard, but sometimes the pain just doesn't allow.
Is that true that you retired from the show business?
I did. I decided that it's evidently not my thing. During the week I was working all week, and if it was something that I thought was what I really needed to do, I would be thinking about the show during the week too, but it would come to be Friday night and I'd be like, holy crap, what am I going to do on Saturday to keep anybody interested? And so I just I'll be happy to do guest stuff, but if it's something that I have to organize, that's evidently not going to happen.
It's much more complicated than people realize.
Oh my goodness, yes. Much so.
Walt thinks that I don't do anything, but
when have I said that?
But when you run out there and try to get people on your show, it's difficult because just coordinating it, So I honor the fact that you gave it a try. I loved your shows, and I do. We want you to join us on every second week of the month. Just lock that into your schedule so that we know that we're going to get at least a little touch of sassy in a month.
Oh, you'll get a lot of sassy. If I'm in the chat, I'm still going to be sassy.
I get it every day.
You love it.
I do. Definitely.
But just on that subject there, oddly enough, Vanessa, who everybody in chat knows Vanessa, her daughter Emily is going to take over Annette's slot.
Yay!
And Emily Norcross will be starting up today, and it's going to be up Crosser's Creek. And to me, it's absolutely a fascinating topic because she considers herself an indigo adult. And she wants this show to be about indigo children, what they confront, how they deal with life, and also the adult side of it too. It should be fascinating. So, that's going to come up at 8 o'clock right after the Say What show. So, Annette, you have been replaced. I'm sorry, honey.
I am all for it, and I know Emily's going to do a fabulous job, so I have no ill feelings at all.
Well, when she burns out, maybe you'll think about coming back.
Yeah,
let's just keep recycling, you guys.
Who else has a daughter we can recruit?
I actually went on chat and said, "Hey, you guys got any more daughters out there? Because, I'm just amazed at the both of you. Not that it's just such synchronicity, and your relationship with your moms that you can, experience this wonderful thing called internet radio over Haggy Shack and Wolf Spirit and just have such a connection there. It's something to be envious of. Let's put it that way. And you're both brilliant on top of it. And you both have a knack for the radio.
Bribery will get you just about everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fun, but it should be a really very interesting presentation. I'm looking forward to it.
What is it she's going to talk about? I'm sorry, I got distracted.
Indigo children.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
And
What's an indigo child?
And
say again? Annette?
I don't understand what an indigo children is.
Well, I think she does, and I think that's why she's so important.
She'll explain it on her show, I'm sure.
Yeah, we've talked about indigo children continually, but to have somebody who is now she identified herself as one when she became an adult, the way I understand it. They started looking at all of the, the composite of what makes an indigo child, and she and her mom are going like, oh my God, that's me. And so with that kind of understanding, she was able to look at life a little differently, and I think that maybe that's what she wants to impart for other people.
Well, and especially in conjunction with children who have been diagnosed with ADHD and hyperactivity and all that sort of thing.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
Quite perhaps many of them are perhaps indigo children.
And
They're special children, but they don't know. The medical profession does not know how to deal with them, because what the medical profession is doing is they're basing all of what they're thinking about on old data. This is new data. This is a new creation. That's my opinion. And that, unless we can really sit down and start analyzing people on an individual basis, we're not going to see the changes. Oh, well, they got this or they got that because they're not conforming to the norm. It's like, I've got oppositional defiant disorder. ODD. It's only supposed to be a childhood thing. Well, I still got it. Because everything that they say that they, doesn't listen to authority, wants to do it there. I mean, it's like, yeah, that's me. I'm not going to listen to authority. I don't trust them.
That's me, too.
Yeah. That's how we ended up with the ODD group.
I think that's most of us who come here.
Yes, and that was the thing, is that, opposition, think about it, oppositional defiant disorder. It was actually in 2010 designated as a actual childhood disease, psychiatric disease. And when we found out about this, we were just dumbstruck, because children, that they go through the process of trying to find themselves. This is just a natural thing that every kid goes through. It's not a disease. But when we looked at it, we realized that, well, actually the definition of what they're saying is us. This is us. We're ODD, oppositionally defiant, and it's not a disorder. It's that we want disorder. We want to upset the order of this matrix.
Well,
and
you see that poster on, sorry to interrupt, but
go ahead.
I just couldn't help it when the medical establishment has to invent a disease. They have to take a sharpener and make the square peg round so they can put it into the round hole. Somebody put, I think it was JP, he put a great poster up on Facebook. The information came out during the Civil War. They came up with a psychological disease for slaves, and one of the symptoms was wanting to be free. Like slavery is something created by nature.
Oh my God. Well, that they've also made a new classification of a psychiatric disorder, and it's called, what is it? Reality changing? What is it? Because JP's got he actually got the domain for it. It's a psychiatric disorder, if you believe that you can change reality.
Oh.
We got that too, but I forget what it is, but JP actually has the domain for it.
Good for him.
I when he was telling me about it, I was just tickled pink, that, yeah, that's right, we got that. Thank God we're not normal, huh? I mean, of all, we're not normal. Oh my God, thank you.
Yeah.
Those normal people are depressed and sad, and they don't know what they're doing, and they hurt animals.
Oh, geez. Let's
Did
not
you
go
see?
there.
No, but did you see this?
Don't tell me a bad thing.
No. This is a great story. You're gonna love this, Dolly.
Okay.
There was this. His name is Henry, and he looks maybe 10-year-old.
Hello?
No one can the communications officers down.
Oh my God, we got so scared. You were in the midst of being critiqued and you lost everything.
The dang modem just rebooted itself, and it takes forever for it to come back up.
Well, I first
want to leave right away.
It's like, well, I'd have said something normally.
I personally think you absolutely passed the test. If your modem's screwed like that and you still got us back up, mazel tov, you've passed.
All right, cool.
We don't have to make any other decision.
And we sent the angel power to you too.
Remember, we never enlisted the gremlins to work for us, not for them. So we can get the gremlins to instantly fix anything.
That's right, Dolly. You did send the angels right in there.
I
You didn't
did.
even hesitate. Yep.
No.
So, okay, good.
I do that now. When it's something I know that I can't handle, I call angels immediately. And look how fast they worked.
Yeah.
Was it fast? It seemed to be like forever.
Well, from when I asked to when you showed up, it was maybe 10 seconds.
Well,
No, you did it before then, didn't you?
No,
Somebody in chat did call in the angels. I thought it was you.
I did, but it wasn't very long ago, Nancy.
Oh, really?
You're getting your
Really?
time screwed up again.
Well, my time was dependent on how many other people commented from when you said it to when I, was there.
Well, they commented pretty fast.
Okay, all right, that's what it was. Okay.
Oh,
okay.
you know what? We can check the time, can't we?
Yeah, but it's not that. Well, it is important. It's angelic stuff. We're trying to.
Yeah, okay, check the time. Here
Okay.
I am ordering you. I'm ordering you to check the time.
I'm checking the time right now.
It is your show. We're just your little slaves here.
Oh, that's right. Power to the Dolly.
That means we can invent, hey, that's a great idea. That means we can invent a new mode. Dolly mode.
Oh, hey.
Oh man, don't start her on that. I'll never hear the end of it.
Okay, my head already.
You're just not used to having such a powerful mom, that's all.
Ugh.
You're just envious. That's all.
Yeah.
She's like light years ahead of you, and you're like dragging your feet, working yourself to death.
That's
Gonna
thanks
get a
to you,
medal.
Walt.
We'll make sure that we pinned out your medal on the headstone, Annette, when they give you a medal for most hardworking person in the U.S.
Oh, thank God. That's what I've been working for.
No, I'm right. It was more than 10 seconds because it was 4:23 on when you said it, and
Oh,
when she
okay.
came back, it's now 4:29, and we've been talking with her for 3 minutes. So that means it was 4:26. So that means that there was 3 minutes between when you said it and when it happened.
Oh, okay.
So
I'm
angels were
corrected.
fast, but probably they need 3 minutes, not 10 seconds.
Probably. I'll accept that. Just so they don't go over,
No, we have a great expectations here.
Yes, we do. And I don't think I thanked them. Thank you, angels.
Thank you.
So, what were we discussing before?
I was blabbering about something, but I don't remember what.
Well, I looked up what the indigo children are, and that's also what you guys call the star children, because that's what I was trying to get into, because I couldn't figure out what an indigo child was at all. So I just wanted to bring that up for anybody else who might be as stupid as I am sometimes.
Oh, so
Well,
it's the kid is playing in a paint store and accidentally falls in a vat of indigo paint. That's not it? Oh, okay.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
I actually think that there is a difference between them based on their generations.
Well,
My
according
understanding,
to Wikipedia, it says indigo children, according to pseudo-scientific New Age concept, are children who are believed to possess special, unusual, and sometimes supernatural traits or abilities. They are sometimes also referred to crystal children or star children. The idea is based on the concepts developed in the 1970s by Nancy Ann Tape and further developed by Jan Tober and Lee Carroll. The concept of indigo children gained popular interest with the publication of a series of books in the late 1990s and the release of several films, blah, 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 blah. And it's on Wikipedia, so it has to be true.
Well, if it's on the internet, yes.
Yeah. But
well,
that
I'm
just
on
kinda
the
gave me a
internet.
little
I'm
more
telling
idea.
you, it's generational.
It
All
is.
right, Nancy.
They start coming in the
Did
30s.
your cat tell you, though? Did your cat tell you it's true?
No, actually, Walt did.
Oh, okay. Well, we gotta believe Mr. Sweet Cheeks.
Well, Walt, explain it to them, please.
Well, the information that I am aware of is from that those 5 books, The Law of Raw Material, when Don Elkins was asking Ra about this particular issue, and it all has to do when they did the very first atomic bomb test. I don't know what year that was. That's when Gaia put out
He's
the call
okay.
that she needed
Sorry,
help.
Walt.
Oh, okay. Are you guys getting me, or am I like?
No, you're fine.
Oh, okay. That very first test was a really bad sign because it was showing that these people were harnessing tremendous energies, yet did not have the spiritual light to use it correctly, and they were going to end up doing the inevitable, destroying their planet they're living on. So according to that, to the material, that's when the planet started sending out the first calls for help. But even prior to that, because the atomic, all of that stuff happened after the Nazis were developing, nuclear energy, and I believe the atomic bomb tests happened after the Second World War. Please correct my history. I'm not an expert.
It was 1945.
Okay.
It was before the war ended.
Okay. But in the material, in the RAM material, it says that prior to that date, because that date marked when the souls from other worlds and other civilizations started coming in droves, and that's what they call the Wanderers. David Wilcock speaks extensively of the Wanderers. But prior to that date, something like around the 1930s, is when the material says that, these highly advanced souls, very old souls, that they've been around for a long, long time, tons of incarnations here and elsewhere, they started coming in because they started seeing that this upcoming harvest was going to be really, really poor. In fact, in the book, they speak about these harvests. The sun rotates around another star. I don't know why they try to keep that information hidden. It was not known in the 70s. I saw a documentary where the scientists had figured, using their mathematics, they had located the location in space of the sun's companion star, and they dubbed it. They gave it a name. They called it Nemesis. And after they gave that documentary, I don't know why, it's like they hid all the information about it. But this solar system rotates around the companion star, and that rotation, that orbit, is 25,000 years long. So during that rotation, it moves just the same way that in a given orbit, like for example, when the moon rotates around the Earth, you have a point of apogee where the moon is closest to the Earth, and then you have another point in the orbit that's like, perihelion, when it's farthest away, I know that it's apogee and perigee. Those are the 2 points. One is when the moon is at the closest to the Earth, and then another one is when moon is the farthest away from the Earth. Well, the same thing happens on a grander scale with the entire solar system. In that 25,000 year cycle, it is at a point where it is nearest to the galactic center. And that's where the high golden ages in history, where you had civilizations like Atlantis and Lemuria and the ancient Indians who had flying vehicles and stuff like that. But
can I jump in here
sure.
for a second? Because I don't think that it's the fact that we're any closer to the center. It's the fact that we're lined up directly with the center's black hole. And that the black hole, even though we see in 3D, it's absorbing all this light, in reality it's also throwing out a tremendous amount of energy. And it's the fact that we're going through this immense energy field that's really making the difference. So it's not the closeness, and it's just a technicality here, but it's not the closeness to the center, it's the way that we've lined up with the...
Yeah, it's the area that it's crossing.
Exactly.
So, following those ages, the Indians divided it and they called it yugas. At the end of each age, when consciousness reaches a certain level, Ra explains that there's something that they call the harvest, not in a negative way. It's when souls have learned enough to graduate and leave the planet, to go elsewhere. And this is the stuff that, Andrew Bartz has spoken about, That's one of the things that they interfered with. That natural mechanism that happens every so many thousand years was interfered with when they put up the Archon grid, because now people are stuck on the planet, never being allowed to graduate. You're supposed to, after, so many lives, you've learned what you needed to learn here on Earth. Now you can move on elsewhere. They won't let you. They keep you trapped here because it's an energy trap. They keep extracting your energy to support the system that they've created. So that's why, prior to the atomic bomb, special souls, very old, knowledgeable souls started coming in because they saw that the same thing was going to be happening like the previous harvest. In the material, he quotes the historical time when the previous harvest happened, and of the entire planetary population, only something like 351 people qualified to leave. They had reached that level of spiritual evolution that they could leave, but they saw such pain and suffering on the planet, they decided to stay. So no one graduated out of the planet. So now the planet is approaching another great graduation, and like Wilcock has given the details, it's coming to the end of a grand era, because not only is it completing one of these 25,000 year orbits, but the ending of this particular orbit also coincides with an even greater era that comprises 5 of those orbits. So not only is this orbit ending, it's also marking the end of another grander cycle. That's why it's so critical and so important, and all these civilizations are here. They want to get their people out of this incarnational trap. So ever since the 30s, all these souls started coming in, and they were given that label, indigo, because of what indigo frequency represents in the light spectrum. Indigo, it's a very high frequency. I don't know if they also meant it as, it was also literal, because, for example, my mom was born in 1938, and twice already on different occasions when we've been to these, metaphysical expos, there's a gentleman living here in the Twin Cities who does these aura pictures with, using Polaroid photography and I guess Tesla technology or something. You put your hands on this plate and he focuses the camera, and there's a dark backdrop behind you, and he takes a photo of you, and then he interprets the colors of your aura. So different people have different colors, and some people have a single colors, others have different areas, and he tells you this represents this or this represents that or whatever. Well, on 2 different occasions I've had my mom's photo taken, and her entire aura from head to toe is indigo. She just has the one color. So when the guy looks at it, he kind of, wiggles his eyebrows. He says, the only time I've seen pictures like this is when I photographed Buddhist monks. He says, this is a really very old soul, and you've been around a really long time. So I don't know if that indigo was literal, or if it just meant that was the meaning of it, that it's high frequency, someone who's had a lot of experiences throughout many lives, as opposed to the souls that evolved here on Earth. You've heard Simon Parkes speak of souls that are originated from Earth. They're not evil, they're not stupid, it's just that they're very naive, they're very gullible. Since they have no other experience from any other planet or any other reality, they believe everything they're told. These are the people that defend their governments and their politicians because they believe what they're told. The politician says that I have to do this, I have to do this. Oh, the bank tells me I have to give them my life savings, I have to give them my life savings. They're not idiots, it's just that they don't know any better. They have no contrast with other worlds and other realities. So that's how you would compare, a very old soul with a very young one. They're so innocent. They'll just believe anything that comes out of your mouth. So that's the indigo has actually started coming in a long time ago. It's not a brand new thing. What I have seen, but this is not from the raw material, is from people that publish in their blogs the stuff that they channel, where they claim that starting since the 60s, a new generation of souls came in and they called them crystal children. Another channeler says that there's this other group that they're called rainbow children. So I don't know. I'm not going to say it's incorrect or it's bad information or false information. You just have to explore it and put it to the test. Does it pan out?
My suspicion, Walt, is that there is a difference in that I think the basic vehicle of the 3D body was what the indigos, it wasn't a changed body. But I see these kids today, and I really feel like they have had genetic changing in their DNA structure. That these new kids, that what I call the star kids, really do have 3D. The vehicle is being changed to essentially work more efficiently with higher energies.
Well, look at this gentleman who does this workshop called the Reconnection. He's a chiropractor. His name is Dr. Eric Pearl, and he was born with 3 active strands of DNA. And he does this thing, he goes all around. I don't know if he's been to Europe, but I know I bought his book and I've seen his videos on YouTube. Wherever he goes, he teaches people how to do this healing modality called the Reconnection. It's not like Reiki at all because you're not using your energy for anything. All you're doing is your energy is working like a catalyst. So the person that's being treated is reconnecting to their own energy, because that's what happened. So when they shut off all these different strands and they just left 2 active strands, we got disconnected from the totality of ourselves. So the stuff that he does is making people do that, achieve the reconnection to themselves, and they get like instantaneous healing and stuff like that. And even Deepak Chopra has spoken about him because he investigated the phenomena of this gentleman. And the one thing that they cannot explain is that once you're exposed to the modality just one time, it gets turned on you. You can do reconnection on others. Like all I did was read the book, and then I found that I was able to do it with my mom and other people. And people that attend the workshop, just by being present there and witnessing it and being taught, it just gets turned on you. The thing is that you have to leave your thoughts at the door. Don't put any thought behind it or visualization or anything. You're just doing it. The more you think about what it is that you're doing or why it's working or how it's working, you get in the way of it and it doesn't work. So, and he had that when he was born. He has 3 active strands of DNA. And he's not the only one, because I've seen other articles being posted of children in Russia and other places where they have more than 2 strands active. So you're right on the money on that case.
Well, the Chinese actually went out across the nation trying to find kids that had psychic abilities, and basically took them away and put them in a place that they're studying them.
There's
so
a film about that one.
This is very well understood that this is happening. Sorry, Dolly, we kind of took your show away.
Oh, the second hour is mine. I'm giving you this one.
Well, it was Annette with the indigo children. Annette, do you feel?
Fault.
Yeah, Annette, do you feel an affiliation with the concept of the indigo? Do you think you could be one?
Well, I know I don't like authority. I know that I do, I have different, I don't know, maybe. I'd have to look into it more, hear more of you guys.
You're a manifestor. You loathe authority.
I loathe, yeah, I do. I really do. Someone tells me no, I'm going to go, oh, really?
Well, let's hope that Emily will bring in information that, might clarify it for all of us.
Yeah, and that's what I am definitely hoping. I mean, I may not be able to listen to it tonight because we do have Sherry and Shannon and the boys here, but I do listen. I download from the free archives at work, and then I listen at work, and then it'll pop up when I'm listening to music because it downloads into my iTunes. So I'll hear it over and over again sometimes, and I pick up something new every time. Like I'll listen to shows with Nancy and Walt on them, and hearing it over kind of helps to settle stuff in my mind. So I would tell people, listen to the archives. Even if you've already heard it, you might pick up some other stuff. But I'm thinking, because I really don't know anything about the Indigo Children or the Star Children. I mean, I hear you guys talk about it, but it means nothing to me because I haven't actually tried to figure out everything. And then when you guys talk about the human strands and there's alien strands in it, that's that woo-woo shit to me. So I don't, that's something I haven't really delved into yet either. So I'm hopeful I'll get some more knowledge.
You're so Argentine when you express yourself.
I am?
Yes, because when you don't understand something, you call it shit, which is what all Argentine people do.
That's it.
I've always done that. She might have gotten it from me.
Uh-huh. So you're from Argentina then?
I don't know. Could be. Who knows? With all the talk on the, I have this alien DNA and I have that alien DNA and some people you hear them talking, they got so much damn alien DNA in them that they're a conflicted person.
Hey, my DNA is better than your DNA, don't you know?
Yeah. Listen to that kind of thing and I'm thinking, okay, you've lost me. I don't believe a word you're saying. But that's just me. I'm very opinionated, and I admit it.
No.
You're a 4-1. You're supposed to be.
I must fit into it just right then.
Yes. You're the round peg in the round hole.
Wow. So, there's a question that we should address. Now O'Clock wants to know which generation in terms of Generation Y, etc., please. Now I've lost the context of what she's asking.
That was when Nancy was talking about how the Indigo Children, it's a generational thing. When I read off the Wikipedia and they were talking about Indigo Children versus Star Children and, Rainbow Children and whatever. And Nancy said it was a generational thing. So I think the question is referring back to what generation then are the Indigo Children. I think that's what she's talking about.
What is a Y generation?
I think Sherry was the Y generation. They've got the different generation, the X generation, the me generation, you were a baby boomer.
And the baby boomers, yeah, okay. Yeah. Now I can understand, okay. So I don't really care about that stuff. All I care is people are people, and we need to treat them like that, and what they come here to do this time.
Yeah, but if Nancy's saying that the Indigo Children are a specific generation, the question is, which generation?
Why? What does it matter?
Yeah, that's what I was sitting here thinking.
Feel important? Oh, I'm an Indigo. Don't talk to me.
Really? What does it matter?
Yeah.
I think it's just a curiosity. I would be curious.
If they've come to do what they're going to do, then we should.
If anything,
we should help them.
I wouldn't want that label because it means, that means I have more responsibility to do.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to do more work. I want to do less work.
Yeah. Labels can get pretty constricting and restricting. I really don't care for labels. I don't mind when we're talking and they say, well, they fall into this category, but as long as I know this category isn't a round circle that they have to stay in that circle, they aren't allowed out of the lines.
I think you're missing the question.
Instead of looking at the generations, why don't you look at the symptoms of people that are Indigo Children, which is something far more visible. Perfect example, Dolly Howard. Person who never felt at home no matter where she went.
Yeah.
That's a typical, that's 100% Indigo right then and there. Did it make you happy to know that you're an Indigo? I don't think so. It's your job.
I didn't even know I was. Did you tell me that?
So not being able to fit in, not getting people to understand when you're talking, they look at you like you're some kind of freak because they have no idea what you're talking about. So there's a whole list of manifestations and symptoms of what it is when someone is an indigo. So that would be more telling than finding out, okay, what generation I was born in. Chances are you might be born in the right generation, but yet you're not an indigo. You're just a soul from this planet.
Huh.
You feel you don't belong here. You feel you can't connect with anybody.
Yeah.
The things don't make sense to you even when you were a little kid.
Right.
People would say, oh, this is like this because this is the way it's always been, and it doesn't make sense to you. Well, you're not from this world. That's why it doesn't make sense to you. Is it fun? But it isn't.
Well, now that you've explained that, it makes more sense to me why Time's question matters to people other than me, why it doesn't matter to me, and why it does matter to others. That makes it more clear to me. Thank you. I don't get so wound up in a lot of the categorizations of things because I think it's because I like the freedom to be anything you want to be.
Exactly. And if you start giving yourself labels, like I'm not trying to be humble or anything, but when people label me and they say, oh, he's a shaman and he does this, and I'm saying, well, you can call me that, but I'm not going to call myself that. I haven't done anything even remotely like shamans do. They go through their training and their disciplines and their vision quests and whatever they do. So I don't qualify under those terms. I don't qualify.
Yeah. I understand that. You don't feel it, what they're saying that you should. Yeah. I'm not judging people for wanting to know this stuff. Heck, there's stuff that I want to know that they probably think is just a bunch of hogwash.
Well, one of the things I've observed, and this is just an observation, I have had a chance to meet two individuals that are walk-ins here in the Twin Cities. One person already knew, and the other person I found out, doing a shamanic journey for them. Now, having heard the information that Andrew Bartz shares of how souls that have a special mission or a specific operation that they need to carry out on Earth, and they have to do things in such a way that the system is not going to sabotage them, that the system is not going to kill the baby before it's born. They have to do all kinds of manipulations to be able to get through undetected by the system. And one of the limitations of the system, it can never achieve a simultaneous 100% scan of any given group of incarnating souls. They have good, exotic technology to do the scanning and all that stuff, but they can't get every single soul every single time. So my perception with this phenomena of the walk-ins, this is just my own deduction, is that one of the techniques they must have used is they must have grabbed a whole bunch of souls. That old adage, where's the best place to hide a tree?
No, I never heard it. Where is it?
What's the best place to hide a tree? If you had to hide a tree, where would you hide it?
I'd plant it in my yard.
So what you do is you grab a whole bunch of souls that are not busy doing much out there, and you enlist them to come in at once, make as big a crowd as possible. So within that crowd is hidden the one that's going to do some serious stuff here on Earth.
Oh.
So that he makes it in undetected, because the system just can't scan everyone 100% of the time in real time, all the time. Because, why do I say this? Is because there's this subtext I hear when I come across individuals discussing the walk-in phenomena, that like every single walk-in is like the future Messiah, or the one who's going to save us all, because they're walk-ins, they're coming in, fully awake, and they're going to do this magical thing, and they're going to save us all. And that's not my experience. I mean, these two individuals that I've met, I'm not trying to be insulting, but the best word I can use is incompetent. They're totally lost. They have no pre-training or preparation to be in this world. They've been completely absorbed and fully controlled by the system. So I'm thinking, baby, if you're here, I'm hoping that you have vibrations high enough that it's affecting the collective, because as an individual doing something, I don't know how effective you are. They have more hang-ups and more psychological problems than we do, that we were, born the normal way. So that's why I think that it was like a smuggling operation. Okay, let's send these 100 guys all at once, and one of them is going to be the critical one who's going to be, doing whatever it is that they come to Earth to do. Like Sierra Neblina, she used to share a ton of information at the Golden Age of Gaia website. Like Nancy, she has a military background, and she's found concrete physical evidence that her birth was actually engineered. Her mother, unknown to the mother, when Simon Parks and others speak of this whole genetic experiments between humans and alien DNA stuff. Mm-hmm. Well, Sierra Neblina's mother, unbeknownst to the mother, she had no idea that this was happening. That's exactly what happened to her. She fell in love with this military gentleman, and it turns out this military gentleman wasn't like 100%, human. Mm-hmm. He wasn't functioning like a human, but wasn't. So her birth was actually engineered, because the mother got pregnant and the father, fell off the face of the planet, completely disappeared. So she actually spent like 10 years living off the grid, trying to get information on her own self, until they finally caved in and they took her to a place where she was shown the secret base and she saw, alien craft. They gave her a choice: either stop digging and live your life, or you're going to disappear. So why am I mentioning her? Because at one point in her life, now she came back, she's a public figure. She does a lot of work, and she gives presentations and lectures. But she's a braided walk-in. She was given the choice because she describes how astrally she goes up on ships. So at one point, they gave her a choice. Okay, you can leave if you feel extremely traumatized by everything that's happened. You can leave and release your body to another walk-in who's going to continue the work. Or you can stay in the body and be braided with this other entity. So obviously this other entity is a member of her soul group. And she says, that's what I want. I want to be braided without. So now it's like two souls in her one physical body. But this is a person who's actively working on this whole woo-woo land of shit that Annette doesn't like to visit very often.
You lost me a while ago.
Okay.
Okay, well, we gotta take a break. It's the top of the hour. And when we come back, I'm gonna be asking questions. I'm not quizzing or anything like that. I'm just curious to know what y'all are feeling about how things are.
Okie doke.
So, okay, thanks, Colleen.
Alrighty.
See y'all on the other side.
La Lusa is on my mind. She's on my mind. Homesick, but it's alright. La Lusa is on my mind. She's on my mind. I swear it's 10,000 degrees in the shade. Lord of mercy, know how much I love it. Every mosquito, every rattlesnake, every canebrake, everything. Oh, yeah. Every alligator, every black water swamp, every freshwater spring, everything. All we need is one more damn developer down a hole out. Oh, yeah, yeah. All we need is one more Mickey Mouse, another golf course, another country club, another gated community. Lord, I need her.
Hello, are we back?
We are back.
Oh, cool. Now, this hour, I would like to talk about how y'all feel about how things seem to be a bit different this year than they were last year on May 28th here in HSR and WSR. Do y'all think we're going in good directions? Do you think we've made good decisions in what we've done? Do you see anything that maybe we can change or you would like to see change? Can we talk about all that stuff?
Everything's perfect. We don't have to change anything.
Right on. I'll take the answer for $100.
Well, we are going through an awful lot of changes. I've got a whole bunch. I'm going to say maybe 6 or 7 new shows coming up here for next week, I think. Well, one starting today with Emily Norcross's Up Crossers Creek will start after Say What today, and the place that Sassy Annette was. And I've got, let's see, there's a show called, let me grab my calendar here. My brain is just kind of overloaded with some of the changes going on.
I bet been coming fast and heavy.
Oh, yeah. We got Earth Mama Living with Jackie Olmstead coming up on Tuesday nights.
What's that going to be about?
It's about healthy living, how to stay grounded, how to eat good foods, and just lots of different topics on that. Then we have a show coming up with Yvonne and a new guy called Dino, and it's called Spooky Pants, and it's it's paranormal topics.
Oh, cool.
And that will be on Wednesday nights. Then we have a show that'll be on from time to time called Looking Out From Within, and that will be Yvonne and Justin Deschamps. I still don't have a whole lot of new information on that one yet, so that's coming in. Then we have a show called The Little Monsters Movie show, where a podcast. And Dino and his lifelong friend Ted kind of do movie reviews on old horror movies.
Oh, that'll be fun.
I've looked, he's got a YouTube video up where he and Ted sit and discuss that, and they're both big Laurel and Hardy fans, as well as Charlie Chaplin and some of the old comedy kind of shows as well.
Now, wait a minute. Charlie Chaplin?
They like the old stuff.
Isn't he the guy that never says anything?
Yeah, a lot of silent movies. Well, I guess he did do a movie where he actually spoke. But they didn't,
wow.
Back in the day, because he had a British accent, they really didn't want him speaking.
I'm just wondering about how you review a movie that the actor never says anything.
Well, it's because, so much of the comedy in it is very physical comedy.
Exactly.
Mr. Bean.
Say what?
Mr. Bean. I enjoy Mr. Bean, and he never says a word.
Yeah. So it's,
Who's Mr. Bean? Who's Mr.
Rowan Atkinson, the British actor.
What does he do? Is
He
it today?
This character named Mr. Bean, and he gets into all kinds of adventures, and he never says a word. It's hilarious.
I've never heard of it. I've seen it here. It must be you have, Colleen?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's a show that plays these days and not way in the past?
No, it's an old, this one's, Mr. Bean's not real current, but it's kind of current. Somebody's got something across their microphone or something, hair or something.
Oh, that was me. I'm sorry.
Okay. But anyway, yeah, this is also a really fun show. He's also got a couple of Facebook pages up, and I'll have to check those up and get those. If you go on HaggieShack.com's website and look at shows, there's information up there. But on his Facebook page, he's also got his videos up there that I enjoyed watching. At first, I was like, I'm not sure, because I'm not a big horror fan. Although he does do a review on the Young Frankenstein movie, which I thought was hilarious. And but he has videos up on his Facebook page, so you can sit and watch them there too. And I enjoyed very much watching a couple of those last night.
Wow, cool.
So, and there are other shows that we're working on as well. So we've got lots of new shows coming up on HaggieShack.com.
Well, you didn't talk about the WTF one.
Oh, well, that's played a couple times. We've got the World Talking with Friends. And
World Talk with Friends.
World Talk? Now I'm going to have to change crap.
Oh, what the fuck? Oh,
Dolly.
WTF.
Anyway, it's shortened to WTF, so if you go into the archives, you'll want to look for WTF. which Nancy and I thought was hilarious. But we talk about, our plan is to speak with people from around the world, because we feel that issues that we as Americans deal with, people everywhere deal with these same issues. And it's to bring us all together rather than we look at people often and see all the differences and then separate ourselves because of the differences. We need to be looking at the similarities, how we're all alike. Because after all, we are all one entire being part of the whole.
Right.
So, and Nancy, do you have anything else you want to add in there?
I was just thrilled with the first two shows because we've got two people from Saudi Arabia, and for the first time in my life, I think I'm beginning to understand Saudi Arabia, because when you talk to the people that actually live in a place versus people that visit the bad part of that place, you get a whole different picture of the people. And just those two shows alone put a lot of hope in me that, wow, this could be a very good way of going. And this coming week, we're going to have Renata Jett on with us, and she can talk about Africa and Europe, and she's just a very well-traveled person. So anybody out there that happens to be listening from the other side of the world, or just contact us. We want to know your story, the story of your country. Down to what kind of holidays do you have? What kind of food do you eat? What's your schools like? The things that we kind of like don't look at that make so much, impact on understanding somebody. So I'm excited about it. Thank you.
Well, I'm excited about a lot of things that are coming up, a lot of the changes, new hosts, and guests that we've got coming in, just a myriad of topics. I like the whole paranormal side of it as well, because after all, we do simulcast to Wolf Spirit Radio, and it's the whole spirit thing.
Yeah.
That
I like the variety.
Oh, yeah. I want the spirit of things, of the spirit of who we are, kind of enmeshed in all of this, because after all, in my opinion, that's what it's all about anyway. We happen to be in this physical world.
I really have liked the way we're getting a variety of different topics covered. And it really seems to be that once we start on something, like the angels, it wasn't just us, like it wasn't just my show where the angels were talked about. It seems like a lot of hosts get the same idea at the same time, and so we delve into that topic for however long, month or two. And then it seems like another topic comes up. And we all seem to get the same thought on this topic. And we end up hearing about the topic from the different people, from the different aspects of what they see in it. And I'm really enjoying the variety that we get, the different input that we get from different people, because it's been opening my eyes to look at things differently. It's been broadening my mind. Oh, you think of something like that?
And isn't that why we're here to begin with? To open our minds.
Yeah. I think, from my standpoint, I have noticed that I have more of an open mind at this point in time than I did a year ago. And it's because you all have come into my life. I've listened to the different people that have been on WSR and HSR. And the people who are coming into the chat, they're adding so much to my life by the different things they say, and it doesn't necessarily get on one of the shows. I think that we have the chat room and the live on air shows is what is making this such a success for so many people's lives. Am I the only one that thinks this way?
No, I agree. I agree totally with you. It's, but it's not, it goes beyond just, I think that what we're like a microcosm of what's really happening all over the place. It's just that we happen to be aware of the fact that it's happening. Because we get out there and we interact with people all over the world. Somebody who does not have the kind of contact you get when you get into a group like this that is not telling you what to do. We're just saying, hey, let's just talk about stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you've got a person who doesn't have that kind of outlet, they're continually being reinforced with other things. But my experience is telling me that even those people are starting to have conversations with each other. It was like this friend of mine. Now, he lives up in North Carolina. He's, like many of us, kind of hermit-like, and does not even go on the computer. And one day he says to me, hey, what's this thing about chemtrails? And then we're like, how the hell does this guy know about chemtrails? You know, and the reason that he even said anything about it was he was wondering about a dog that had gotten a strange kind of disease, and his mind went, I wonder if it's that stuff in the air. And I said, chemtrails? And he said, yeah, that stuff, chemtrails. What is it? I don't know how he got the information, but what I'm saying is that I think that we're an example of what's happening all over the place. That's all. It's not just us, it's everybody. Everybody's changing. Everybody's waking up whether they are participating in it or not. Through osmosis or the concept of different energies resonating, and then you start to resonate, and now all of a sudden your brain starts to work a little differently, and you look at things a little differently, and the reality is what you think it is.
I like that. I use that. Reality is what you make it. Is that what you want to live your reality like?
Yep.
I do like that. And you're the one who taught me that one. You and Walt. You had this show one time and you were talking about you can make your own reality, and that made me sit back and pay attention.
Well, we talk about it all the time because it's exactly what we think we're doing. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know that there's, and again, the eclectic kind of shows that you see across Wolf Spirit, with what JP does and with what Colleen does, because there's actually two production companies. It's like this snippet of life and a snippet here and a snippet there, and it's exciting. Because there's all these things happening. Our brains are getting filled with interesting concepts, whether we agree with them or not. Mm-hmm. And most of us have found, hi Annette, that, if you listen to somebody the first time, you go, oh my God, this person is out to lunch. And then, you listen to somebody else and then you go, what was it that person said? And then you go back and you go, oh my God, I think they were telling me something I should have paid attention to. We're continually learning because we're willing to learn. It's like I like to say, we don't have to be right, we just have to know. And that's what we're searching for, is the knowing.
And that's another thing I like with our on-air shows. If somebody in the chat room says something that is so contrary to what we're saying and talking about and thinking, we'll discuss it. We're not condemning the person or saying, oh boy, look at that. We're saying, oh my gosh, isn't that interesting?
Well, I don't get into the chat too often because, especially when I'm on air, because I get lost in it. It's so fascinating. I mean, you got conversations going on, and it can it can get your attention. You forget what you're doing, especially if you're the host. You know, so, and I did not understand that about chat. Anybody out there that's hearing this and is not participating in chat, you might find some really good friends there. Because, I mean, Colleen certainly and Dolly and Annette, met each other in chat.
Mm-hmm.
Walt and I came in the back door, but we know Walt likes the chat.
Yeah, Walt has lots of fun with chat. He cracks me up. I have never seen a man who can be so what I call ambidextrous as he is. He can be talking to you, typing in the chat, and talking a different subject with them all at the same time.
And then he turns to his mother and talks in a different language.
Oh my gosh.
I've been on, I don't know, 70, 80, 90, I don't know how many shows with him. And yes, it amazes and pisses me off. Because he is talking on air live while he is typing in the message. And I'm watching him do it and I'm going like, does he have a split brain? How can he do this? I can't even keep it. Oh my God, yeah.
It's
but
amazing.
Anyway, we love you, Walt. We just are amazed at your many talents. Now, Colleen, can I ask you a question? Where do you see Haggy Shack going?
I am not a big planner aheader. if those are words.
Makes sense to me.
I see it growing. I see more and more listeners. I see younger people coming in, participating in the chat as listeners, but also as hosts, and hopefully maybe even producers, people who, because a lot of the young kids have a lot of these tech skills that seem to be innate because they grew up in, the gamer kind of genre. Because some of us are getting on there in age, and I want to see, or hope to see, new blood come in, so to speak. And I want to hear what they have to say, what their concerns are, what their joys are, what their hopes are. And that's kind of where I see it going. Now, as far as my planning, all that, no. It just seems to be happening, and I'm running with it, literally. Well, if you can run while sitting in a chair at computers. But
with your legs crossed.
In my lap, always, for years, yeah. Buddha position here. So I guess I meditate while I'm doing several things at once. Anyway, that's kind of where I'm seeing this all go. And as far as Wolf Spirit Radio is going, I'm hoping that getting all these different, because like with Dino, he's got his own YouTube channel. He does his own graphics, his own recording, his own editing. So that's kind of a station in itself that we're bringing in to this network, as well as Yvonne's got a lot of different irons in the fire as well. And I think she's got, it's called Ruby Bean Radio, because she does lots of radio shows. So bringing that into it as well. I am planning, this is something that is planning and just kind of happening, is filling up Haggy Shack Radio's schedule with different shows going on simultaneously as Wolf Spirit shows. Because Ever Beyond is a part of the Wolf Spirit network. So that we give people options. If, say, there's one show playing on one station that you're not really interested in, you can click another player and listen to something else.
Very nice.
So I'm also trying to incorporate both of those stations into the schedule on Haggy Shack. So it may end up, we're all going into the second page now, as I did some updates on it yesterday, so that you can look at that schedule and kind of see what's going on in different places, so you can go, oh, wow. You know, so that gives you options. Also, it keeps you in this network so that you're not going out other places, you know, and having to spend time going to find something else to listen to. So this way we've given you, hopefully we'll give you a lot of different options.
It's not a one-pony show.
No, and I don't want it to be a one-pony show, you know, because really I'm pretty boring. And so, you know, we've got hosts and we've got guests so that we can have different voices in there. And I want to widen that scope of voices.
And you do one heck of a job, Colleen.
Well, I do the best I can.
I think even in your equipment stuff and your knowledge to run new programs and new equipment, you have come leaps and bounds over last year at this time.
Oh, yeah, I've noticed, and I thank you for that. I have noticed, even in my book readings and the quality of the sound from now versus a year ago and especially 2 years ago, because I've been replaying some of them because I really haven't had a chance this last week plus to do new book readings. And I'm like, oh my God, that sound is horrible. Although at the time, to me, it sounded pretty good. So, yeah.
See, you're learning. You're learning. Your ears are they're perking up and hearing different things because you've learned so much.
Oh, yeah. And, you know that old saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Yes, the hell you can.
Yes, you can.
And
I think we're all living examples.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm calling myself the Grandma Moses of online radio.
Well,
and
look at how Nancy's come a far way too, in my opinion. When I first listened to her, all she could talk about was that Shungite stuff.
I know, you go, oh my God, she's talking about Shungite again. I'll see y'all later.
But she was so excited about it, and she kept being excited about it, and so I'd listen. And then she started talking about her cat talking to her, and she got on these different topics, and I thought, well, she's not a one-pony show. No. So then I got more interested, but what I'm getting at is I was given the opportunity to get to know someone that I didn't know before. And it has so enriched my life. And then she brought Walt into my life and into the listeners' lives. And here we go opening more doors. And he's definitely not a one-pony show. I think the guy knows everything about everything.
Don't say that to him.
Okay, don't tell Walt I said.
Yeah, like I'm going to believe you.
And it brought me to a place where I had never known that shamanic journeys could be taken for people like me. And he did one for me, and wow. Wow.
Well, now that you have Shungite in your life, you have a different perspective on Nancy then.
Oh, absolutely.
This girl was right talking to me about Shungite.
Yeah. Definitely. And now I understand the excitement with the Shungite, but I try not to go overboard with it. But I know I probably do, because it does so many good things. And see, we wouldn't have known about that had Nancy and Walt not come on. And this is a very powerful thing, this Shungite stuff. And look how many people that it's been shared with because of WSR and HSR.
That's a critical point. It truly is, because JP was the first one that listened to me when I discovered it. And he really went with me. I mean, he got interested in it, and then Walt heard about it, and, so it was the talking about it that started it up. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not like this stuff hasn't been around. It's been around for millions of years. It's been known for 200 years easy, and is very popular in the rest of the world, but it had never broken into the U.S. market. Mm-hmm. And just talking on us, a very small group of people talking about it. We have over 1,000 customers, and that's our store only, and we're not the most popular store of U.S. vendors, Yeah. So, I mean, yes, when we say something, it can take off. And it's not just Shungite, it's the whole message of, yes, we know there are a lot of problems out there, but we also know that for every problem there is a solution.
If not more than one.
Yes, and communication solves all problems. And that's what we do, we communicate.
Mm-hmm. And I like the positive attitude we've taken toward things. We don't get caught up with, oh my God, we're doomed. We look at, well, gee, okay, so that crap's going on. What can we do to make it better?
That's the critical difference between us and a lot of people out there. But I also think it's because of the people who ended up becoming part of the Wolf Spirit Network. We're people that have really fought the battles to make other people understand what the problems are. And, now we know, okay, we know what the problems are. Let's go for the solutions. And a lot of people coming up, they're just learning about the problems. So that's exciting. That's where they listen. That's, but the reality is give it a little more time, and those other people who are out there talking about the problems are going to start talking about the solutions. Yeah. We just happen to be, like JP's been in the business for a very, very, very long time, the radio business, and the rest of us have, been aware and awake for a very long time, whether or not it came together as fast for like you or Annette, because you get kind of like, you just opened enough, and then you start learning more and more, and then you look at more and more, and pretty soon you're going, oh my God, we're doomed, But then you have to have a voice out there. No, you're not doomed.
Right.
There's a solution for every problem. Please don't get upset about it. But the first thing is to make people aware of the problem. So the other stations out there that really are focusing on that, they're setting the stage for people to come to us or to come to them when they evolve into the solutions. But everything is changing. It is. I've been watching this very carefully for a very, very long time. And this year has been, it's not anywhere near what it was last year. One thing is the time. We all have realized that time is being very weird. It's like, a week seems to go by like whoosh. And yet, if you think back on something, it seems like it happened a long time before it did.
Yeah. It's that time thing that's screwy in my life.
But I think that's just another indicator of what we were talking about in the first hour, of this area, this time, this place of immense change. And if you fight the change, all you're going to do is get heartburn, and probably sick. If you just go with the change, embrace it, and put your own thoughts and emphasis and emotions into it, you will, in fact, be the people who are architecting the new reality. And I think that's the message we're trying to get.
I know it's a message I've seen people, the hosts, trying to get across. And when people come into the chat and they're all like I was, just a frickin' mess, they're starting to realize, oh my gosh, there's something more out there. There's something I'm missing. I want it. I want to find it. I don't know how to get to it. Yet I've got all this other stuff going on. What am I going to do? Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. You know, they're going in circles, and I like the fact that the people who are in the chat tell them it's okay, you're going to be okay, talk to us. I like how they're there to support these people like me. And I see the difference in the chat than it was last year. I've noticed that a lot too. The people who are coming in, if they aren't this supportive to start with, they tend to become good supporters for other people. And then they push them out of the nest and say, go for it. Like Emily, you know, she got pushed out of the nest. Like Annette, she got pushed out of the nest. Go for it, girl. Do your show. Share yourselves with us. I love that we can come here and do that.
Well, we bring in people that don't have a voice. I mean, a lot of shows, they get people who have a known name, you know, and that's excellent. But we also go out of our way to give chatters a chance to you know, just talk to us. Mm-hmm. People that we're willing to bring people in that don't have any credentials per se, except that they're human beings with a story. And I have never had a guest on that, well, I've never had, when I was in charge of my own show, I never had a guest on whose story I didn't absolutely was engrossed in. Right. Everybody has a story, and every story I've heard has been very, very engrossing. And if you can do that for people to say, no, your story's important and we want to hear it, that just does so much for everybody. And I'm proud of the people that we bring in. You know, people that don't have, like Gene Rockefeller and Lee Brown, and, you know, even people like, Deb, who didn't want to have her own show or anything, but we give her an occasion, and Annette. You know, we bring them on so that they can talk to people. Yeah. You know, because they've got so much, you know, real gifting to give. And, you know, so to me that's special too, that we're not into it for the glamour or the names or the listeners. Mm-hmm. We're in it because we believe that because we do it, we affect the collective consciousness. That's where I come from with it. And I think it's nowhere near what it was a year ago. Colleen has come into her own. Walt, would you like to just share you and Colleen have to decide this, but when I was explaining to Walt how you would kind of like come into your own, Colleen, and you know, you were so busy that, you know, I was feeling a little left out. Not really. I was so happy because it's progressing so well. But he shared the part of the shamanic journey that he took for you, about the wheel. Would you guys, you know, mind just saying, you know, talking about that? Do you remember, Colleen?
I can tell you.
Please do.
It's up to Colleen if she wants.
Ask Colleen if she wants to do it.
I said, please do.
Oh, okay.
Well, it all was an answer to one of her questions, because I always ask the person to give me 2 or 3 questions to ask their guides. One of the questions can be if the person needs an energy device, what would they need? But in this particular case, one of her questions was, am I doing what I came here to do? I mean, that not the question verbatim, but that was the idea behind the question. You know, am I doing what I came here to do? If not, what did I come here to do? So, you know, Colleen is not from this world. Her guys are in a ship in orbit. The only way that I can describe her task when she was among her people doing the work is a communications officer. But her duties went beyond that. They showed me an image like the old stagecoach wheel where you have this big hub and all the spokes going out to the perimeter of the wheel. Not only was her job to keep lines of communication between teams that were tackling different projects and different problems, but it was also managing synergy. What does that mean? Well, if you had a team working on a specific element and it had something to do with the project that another team was handling, she would combine those two so that they would help each other out. So together they were able to achieve more than if they were separate working on their own things. And she had the skills to see that, where others might say, what? We don't get that. So her job was constantly administering to the needs of these different teams, keeping them connected, answering their questions back and forth. And I said to Nancy on Skype, this is why she chose to be a generator, because that's where a generator is at their peak of their power, when they're in response mode, when they're responding to questions, responding to situations, responding to circumstances. They're in the captain's chair. That's their job, to respond to things, not initiate. The other factor is generators consistently put out a steady stream of energy. That's why they can work 10 hours and not faint. I said someone, for example, like Annette, who's a manifester, she would be poorly suited for such a job, because the manifester, they'll have an explosive period of creative activity, and then they have to shut down and rest because they need to regenerate. So and she doesn't do well with questions, because the function of a manifester is always to initiate and do things, not so much answer questions and respond to situations. So I said, that's why her guide said she's doing what she came to do. It doesn't mean that what she's doing, producing this internet radio show, it's not world changing. She's not changing world governments. She's not.
But in fact,
for anybody who has ever,
she very much is doing this.
Exactly, because one of the
she's
things,
changing the mind framework.
Exactly, because even the tiniest little thing has, long, far-reaching consequences. It's like I guess this concept is not unknown, especially to this audience. One of the principles behind the chaos theory, that says, if a butterfly is fluttering its wings in Africa, for example, that's creating a typhoon over in Thailand, something like that, because everything is connected. So that's all. I mean, she doesn't have to be Jackie Onassis. She doesn't have to have a fortune. But this job of communicating, constantly communicating, that's moving the energy tremendously. And that's all it takes. It's like, I use you as my example. I always call Nancy the clue dropper, because she'll be saying something and that's it. I pick up on a clue that she says and I use that and I take off with it and I'll make something out of it. So that's all it took. She didn't have to spend a week talking to me. All she had to do was say a couple of sentences, give me a little clue about something, and then I can use that. So, and that comes through communication. So
let me ask Colleen something. As the station has taken on this new dynamics, Colleen, did you feel like it was sort of like not predicted, but that it's already something that's happened? In other words, it's got the certainty to it, a movement to it, like, you may not have planned it, but it looks like somebody has got this grand plan. Or do you feel like it's just happenstance that people have come together over it?
Well, I think it's a combination. Although I don't consciously plan ahead, plan very much out, as Walt said, I kind of do see how everything fits together. And yes, I do, we've talked often here lately about the synchronicities. of everything. You know, we talk about things, somebody else talks about things, and it's all within a week or so, and sometimes even hours. How it all just seems to come together, and perhaps we had planned all of this prior to coming. And if you're planning it and all of that, then it kind of sort of is happening as you're planning it before you actually start planning it, if that makes any sense.
Yes, it makes complete sense to me.
You know, because, and I know that, you know, so from time to time, I've started to say so often, I have thought about something so hard that I actually think I've done it. Or then I go, did I really do that? Or did I just think about it so hard that I think I've done it? You know, it's kind of it's weird.
I do it daily with the fish, and the fish will not tell me, did I feed you or not?
It happens to me daily, too.
Yeah, so, you know, it is kind of, you know, you talk about cosmic reality, and I think that they just all blend together in some strange way that drives me crazy sometimes. But, well, I guess that's my answer to all that. Is there something else anyone wants to ask that maybe I cannot answer succinctly?
Well, Annette, are you listening?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you fell asleep.
No, close.
Huh?
I'm close, but no.
Huh. Since last year to this year, sorry, we got a phone ringing. Have you seen any difference now that you're coming in?
Yes, I see a difference. I can't really tell so much if it's in me or if it's in the shows. I'm thinking it's in the shows, but it could be a combination. And I agree with what people were saying. I just want to make sure, I mean, the reason I started and was doing the Sassy show was because I want to get through to people that, yes, there are a lot of different ideas on what's out there and what we can talk about, but there's also some misleading information out there that I think people need to be cognizant of and use your mind and think about what's being said. Some things may just seem kind of off, but some things, if you catch lies going on, contradicting each other, you just don't take what somebody says as fact. You have to think about it yourself and find what resonates within yourself. I think that was the main thing that I wanted to do with the Sassy show, is just trying to get through to people. Question. Don't just take something and say, oh, hey, well, you know, so-and-so said this, so I'm going to believe them now. Think about it. Use your frickin' brain and don't just go off into outer space and think everything is what is being said. That's the main thing that I wanted to get through, because there's so much information out there and so much good information. But anytime you have that, you're also going to have some in there that throw in a bunch of bull crap, and you need to be cognizant of that. That's all I wanted to do.
Cool.
But I think there is so much good information in here, and when you get the sprinklings of things that may not be, it's hard to distinguish between the two. That's it. I'll shut up now before I get kicked out.
Oh. So to some part of what you set up is, don't just believe people, do your own research. If somebody says something and it raises a hair or two or your eyebrow or makes you think, research it.
Can I say something? May I?
Yeah.
That's perfect attitude to have. Just evaluate. Like when I send the person the report, I always tell them I cannot say this is the truth. I can only say this is what I experienced. You have the last word if this rings true to you or not. But one of the things that I want to mention.
What happened?
Car horn?
I don't know. I don't think it's from here.
I lost you, Walt. I can't hear you, honey.
Everybody turn off your mics. Just turn. Okay. So somebody's got a weird mic thing happening.
Well, I turned my mic off and I could still hear it.
I don't hear it now.
And it's gone.
It's
Whoop.
back.
Okay, Annette, turn your mic on, please.
It's Annette.
Oh, it's Annette. What you doing in that bedroom?
No, you wouldn't.
There's a car in your bedroom?
It's what it sounds
Turn
like.
off my mic.
Okay, turn it off. Turn your mic off, Annette.
Wow. And see, I don't hear a car horn. It's got to be with her headset.
She's got some kind of a short happening, I think.
Feedback?
Sherry, were you just on your phone? Were you just on the phone when you were out there? And did you just turn it off? Your phone. Did you just turn it off? Oh, Sherry was on her phone. Maybe it was something with that. But it was Annette and Sherry were a house apart. It couldn't have been Sherry.
Well, Annette, turn your mic back on and see if it comes back up. She's off the phone now. Is Annette there?
I don't know. Annette.
She doesn't like it when you wake her up.
Now she's got her things, it's all pulled apart and she can't get it back together. Okay, we'll leave you to it, honey. Sorry about that. Oh, Lordy. Too funny.
What I wanted to...
her headset died.
Oh.
So she's gonna just listen. Oh, maybe that was it. Maybe it was telling her I'm dying.
We love you, Annette.
Wow. Well,
No, what I wanted to say on that issue of the wanting to know something and then, somebody gives you information and what do you do with it if you don't have the intellectual background to evaluate the information that's being given. Believe it or not, that is an advantage, not having a preconception of what you're being given because you have nothing to skew your feeling of it. So, yes, should you evaluate and feel the information that's being given to you? Most definitely. But also be ready on this other thing. When you are wanting to know something because of the law of attraction, whether you like it or not, information is going to start flowing to you. Whether somebody mentions something to you or you're walking down the sidewalk and you see the title of a book on a bookstore or somebody sends you an email about something, that's the way the law of attraction works. You will start getting links and information more and more and more because if you say to yourself, I'll give you a perfect example. When I was still living in New York, my naturopathic doctor got a manuscript that was supposedly written by this. It was being put out by this group that did channeling work. And according to this manuscript and according to the channeled material that they got, it said the title of the manuscript was AIDS, the Last Great Epidemic. And in the material, it spoke about how it had been, genetically created in a laboratory in Eastern Germany, and it had been financed, by the cabal, skull and bones type deal, and that they knew the cure, but they did it on purpose, this whole depopulation agenda. Toward the later part of the books, they said that you could destroy the virus, if you used a technology that existed, that was already developed by a man, this technology produced a plasma wave, and just like a sound can crack a crystal, this wave could destroy the virus in a person's body without affecting the body. But it gave no resources, it gave no descriptions, nothing. So I read the entire manuscript and I was so mystified, I just mentally thought, wow, I would really like to have information on what this technology is. So I gave the manuscript back to my doctor when I was ready, when I was done reading it. And it was less than a week. I'm getting the mail out of my mailbox and I see this magazine, which is a catalog from some organization in California called Borderland Research Sciences Foundation. And it was all black and white, no colors. And I started leafing through this, and they have all these interesting books about metaphysical things, esoteric things, books about technology, and, all that, woo-woo shit that Annette hates. And at one point I come across this little ad in the catalog about how to buy a book that lets you build a rife machine. So I'm reading what's there in the ad, what the machine does, and it's like I was reading the same section from the manuscript. A machine that generates a plasma wave with a specific frequency, and you can use it to destroy organisms. And all I did was I just wanted to know more. And that's what will happen with knowing and knowledge. Your simple, innocent, childlike desire to know something, it'll just start flowing to you. And you'll get, and of course, because it's flowing to you, that's where you come in, that you have to filter out the real stuff from the propaganda, charlatan type stuff. But once you make up your mind that you want to know about something, you won't be able to hold it back. It just comes at you because you want to know. Just be prepared.
I agree. Well, I have books who fall off the shelf in my hands and on my head. Yeah, I agree.
Oh.
Well, we are to the end of this show. Thank you so much, Colleen and Walt and Nancy and Annette, for coming on and sharing. I just wanted to touch base with y'all because I've been feeling so good about the way things are going now, and I've been realizing how fast things are happening, and I wanted to know, was I the only one feeling this way?
Yeah, you're not the only one, and I do want to say that we're not hijacking you guys today, because Yvonne Palermo is going to be coming on our show in a few minutes. And if any of you want to come on and just, spend some time with Yvonne too, but she's got that, it's like we're making a stew and she's the newest ingredient. You know what I'm saying, Dolly?
Yeah, that's okay, 'cause I gotta get potato salad going. And Sherry and Shannon are here, and the boys everybody's been so quiet for 2 hours. I need to let them be able to move around and talk and
potato salad. Did you bring enough for the rest of the class?
Well, I'm making a shitload of it. And deviled eggs, and so I appreciate that you wouldn't mind us listening in live, but I really got work to do.
Well, have a great visit with your family, darling. Thank you so much for having us on.
Have a great dinner.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you again for coming on. Thank you all for listening. Now you know how we interact with each other, and I wanted you to hear that. And please, listeners, if you have anything that you would like to hear, or anyone you would like us to bring, like Deb is bringing a guest on my show. She asked me if she could bring this lady on. She'd been wanting to interview her. Heck yeah, June 11th. Lee Brown is bringing on her guest on my show. So, please feel free to add to our shows, to suggest people, to suggest topics, and to continue giving us your comments and input, because we're all here to be together. And that's how I'm going to leave it. And thank you, Dave. I felt you. Thank you all. I love you all. Thank you, Colleen.
Thank you for having us.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Guardian angel.